Welcome back to the Whereas podcast, hosted by
Trezale,
and your boy SPG,
where we discuss the bars, the beats, and the culture that make up hip-hop music.
And of course, it's from the perspective of these two island boys with opinions.
Hey guys, Editor Trey here. In this next clip, the beginning of the pod, you're gonna hear that the audio quality is, it sucks. We know, you don't have to come for us in the comments. Our audio equipment stopped recording. We don't really know why. We gotta get to the bottom of that, but we know it. We didn't really want to do it again. So anyway, thank you for all the support. Peace.
So today we're going to be diving into F.D, otherwise known as For All the Dogs, Drake's 8th studio album. This is our opportunity to really get our rocks off. The expensive Drake continues to be one of the most influential hip-hop artists and iconic artists of all time. 170 million records sold worldwide.
Second most selling rap artist of all time.
We wouldn't be able to call this a true hip hop podcast without speaking of one of the largest artists out there. So, we've broken down this review into, I would say, 3 major segments. The first, we're going to be looking at the beats and the mixing. What's the second segment?
Lyrics, content, wordplay, and delivery.
Right. And the third section, we're going to look at the overall theme
And how we feel about it.
and how we feel about it.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first? SPG? You want me to go first?
Beats and mixing.
Mm-hmm. Your thought.
My thought.
Just off the top of the dome.
Well, I tend to do that.
Yeah. Good thing you have a good dome.
Here we go again.
Let's go. Let's go.
I don't know. I mean, I one of the difficulties I've been having, I've had to be truthful with you guys, is that I've had to finally admit that as much as I want to be at home all the time, there is the reality of me feeling more and more lately as if the hip hop isn't for me, at least contemporary hip hop isn't for me.
Ooh, that's heavy though. We only just begun.
Well, you don't want rappers to drop tonnage from the big first
From
song.
the get-go, from the get.
If within about 4 bars the man is time work well,
True. True.
Anyway, right.
True that.
No, I mean I've had to come to grips with this because a lot of contemporary hip hop I really don't like. And I used to feel good about liking contemporary hip hop. I used to be like, oh my gosh, I'm still with it. Right?
I'm still hit.
I'm still hit. I'm still part of that word. And so I mean I continue to listen to contemporary stuff. So the point in saying that is that when I listen to this album, I feel very much like the beats are pretty generic to me. I mean, not many of the beats stand out. I can tell you the ones that were really stood out to me. Take for instance, It and
Oh, you like that?
Yeah. And I also liked AMA, but I felt like I've heard these beats before on Drake album.
You have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that's saying a lot, given that I'd like to indicate that I haven't listened to that many Drake albums.
Yeah.
I don't know what Tremaine went through. We'll talk about this later, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I did. What was it? Comeback Kid? Comeback Season.
Comeback Season.
I did. Well,
Kid. What?
yeah. What? See? What is that? Like a reference to some Western?
I was about to say it.
Comeback Season, So Far Gone. Find Me Later.
You did
Take
it.
Time.
You take care.
Take Care.
Take time. God, you're killing it right now, bro.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. I don't like this guy. And Nothing Was the Same. And I think Nothing Was the Same. Nothing Was the Same was not the last one I listened to. But I remember as I was listening to them along with during that time, I was like, I mean, he's alright. He's alright. I mean, at first I thought he was great because
It was never your brand of hip hop, though.
not really. I mean, we're not going to talk about gangster hip hop today. But
Oh, but we are. We have to. Anyhow.
But anyway, I'm rambling on. I'm just saying that the last thing that I listened to from Drake was If You're Reading This, It's Too Late.
And you did enjoy that either?
Not that I didn't enjoy that either. I would say that I enjoyed Nothing Was the Same, which I think a lot of people think is one of his best. But then after that, if you're reading this, it's too late. I just kind of felt like it was a playlist. It doesn't happen.
So you think that this album is very reminiscent of that playlist? Because remember,
I was just setting the scene. I haven't listened to a lot of stuff in this guy. I only have Views and Scorpion and certain Boy. Like, I haven't listened to any of his personal because I just don't dig him and what he represents. And like his music is like just fluff to me. So, but I decided to listen to this one, and I'm like, even though I haven't listened to a Drake album in so long, I mean that doesn't mean that I haven't heard songs from him. A lot of these beats sound like stuff I've heard Drake rap on before. So I'm not that impressed. It feels very much like how I felt about DJ Khaled's albums.
Okay.
Kind of like there's maybe a formula for the kind of beats that this man raps on.
Yeah.
And that's what you had here. So I mean, they sound good. They sound well mixed.
Good. Now we're getting into it.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, there's clean production, you know. But I'm not that. Nothing stood out. Nothing was impressive. Like, I mean, the song. And last thing, nothing was impressive. The song that had the most impressive beat to me was First Person Shooter, and then I was like, no, you don't really like this beat because J. Cole is rapping really well on it.
Nah, it's a great beat.
Okay.
So if you had to give beats a mixing for all the dogs, score out of 10, what would you do it? What would you give it?
And it loses a lot of points for just being just regular shit.
Can I go?
Sure.
Can I live? In my opinion, I give the beats and mixing on For All the Dogs a solid 8 out of 10.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I felt as if I love how it sounded. First track, Virginia Beach, sounded like something that you would hear from like Frank Ocean. Amen, I agree with you. Amen is actually a really, really nice song. And I'm talking about music, I'm not talking about lyrics. Wordplay, nothing, just the actual music. I like Fair Fights, and I like Daylight. I like the song Fair Fights and Daylight.
I like the beat of Daylight as well.
You like Daylight, right? What I especially like is a lot in this album. Drake did that thing, or 40. I would assume 40 produced most of the beats on this album. Drake did that thing where he would start with one beat and it flips into another beat.
Like the sicko mode.
Like sicko mode. And I definitely think that is something, I don't know if that's his trademark or whoever, or you know, whatever they're calling card, what have you, but I think it adds like a really amazing energy to the music. Because then it allows you to, he might be rapping in one way, one flow throughout like half of the song, and then it flips. And then you get even whether it's more aggressive, whether it's slow, whatnot, and it brings an interest and an intrigue to the music. So I would say that I really, really enjoyed the actual beats and mixing. What I would say, the reason it didn't get 10 out of 10 for me is because it's not cohesive. It literally is just a bunch of music that was put on an album.
This is the way you were saying, this is the way you were asking for making a comparison to.
Right.
If you're
reading this too late, because it really does feel like a playlist, and I think the album is quite long. It's long in modern day terms. I think it's 22 or 23 tracks, I believe. And I found that quite bloated, in my opinion. I think it was super bloated, especially given the content, but we'll get to the content later. But yeah, I can definitely see why people who mess with Drake would want to put this on and bump it. Like if maybe you live in like, you know, a large country overseas or even in the Caribbean. I mean, you travel long distances in the Caribbean too, like Jamaica, Trinidad, you know. Like you could put that on and for like an hour and a half, you could like listen. It's just like you're writing music. It's on. Force for the dropping. You're right. You'll be mad as shit, but you're right. First person shooting, right? But yeah, so that's me on beats and mixing. I give it a solid 8 out of 10.
So you're giving it an 8, I'm giving it a 5.26.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so lyrics, content, wordplay, and delivery. Ooh, boy.
content, wordplay, and delivery.
Yeah.
Wordplay and delivery. I think Drake's content is trash. I should really expand.
I was about to say, you got qualify that. You got to say what makes it trash for you.
For me.
Yeah.
Just
Two island boys with opinions.
like, you know, being a big part of kind of pop, hip hop kind of stuff. It's never been hard, although he started trying to be hard. And I will never forget that song where he talked about catching bodies and asking people to hold his phone. So, I mean, I was blaming it. I was sorry.
He didn't suspend your.
He did not suspend everything. No. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think that every rapper that says something with great conviction is actually doing it. But you know, some conviction is better than others.
I agree.
So, but the content,
Right.
he is, you know, he's often rap songs in the past that were very much about his feelings and relationship concerns. He's still doing that, but these days he seems to be upset about young girls giving him difficulty in relationships.
He got issues, he got troubles, he got stuff going on, right? So is your issue with what he's rapping about or how he's rapping about it? Like
Both.
Okay,
Both. I mean, I don't have to. Don't get me wrong. Like, if somebody is rapping something that I'm not into, I don't listen to it, which is why I haven't listened to Drake for so long. So you know, persons will be like, "Oh, he's a hitter. Just don't listen to one." I don't. But from what I've heard, you know, it's always it's a relationship stuff. Like, I find that in more recent times, his stuff about relationships seems much more misogynistic, much more coming from a place of conceit. Conceit, pompousness when it comes to his position within relationships.
Just three stacks so people can see the real artist. Sorry.
I mean, you know, like there's some braggadocio stuff. There's some stuff about, you know, like, I mean, is there anything else? He talks about how good he is. Drake is always rapping a song about where he's come from and what he's been through. I know that his second last song is the ultimate song of this album, doesn't talk about it, right? I know Trey like say, I don't care. Yeah. I mean, you know, like it's just the content is just more of the same. When have I not heard Drake do this stuff? Wordplay wise, he's pretty good. He's always been good. I mean, some of his lines are corny. You got any? Some of his lines are corny. You know,
I don't mind some corn every now and then.
I love corn. I'm very corny.
Yeah,
I mean, I like to do line. You know, rappers send their beats back to me, and when they come back, they're terrible, like a 2-year-old.
Right, or the one that he said, something about me in 21, where I go, you go Slavian.
I love that bar. I like that bar, bro. You man.
Wherever I go, you go
Slavian. I remember. He had another one in there that was just as silly.
Well, what about the one when he said, girl, I think I'm bi because you like one of the guys. That was cringy.
Yeah, but I mean, you know.
That was cringy.
I mean, he does that. So I mean, he's never been to me that hard hitting kind of lyricist. But there is a wordplay, and his delivery is alright.
Oh wait,
no. So I would say, content, trash. Like I would give his content like a 3.
Right. Okay.
But 5 maybe. Nah, I can't give 3.5, but 3. I would give his wordplay like maybe a 6.
6.
And his delivery maybe a similar amount, maybe a 7, maybe. Because his delivery is always he's a good rapper.
Okay.
Alright.
I'm mad at this.
So overall, I would say that lyrics wise, 3, 6, 7. Yeah, I give you 5.5, 6. 6. Maybe a 6 or 10 for lyrics.
Alright, yeah, because, I mean, as SPG said, we're gonna delve into this very, very soon, but lyrically, okay, let me just start with my rating. So, in terms of lyrics, content, what we call it content, I gave Drake a 2 out of 10. I mirror a lot of the same comments and feelings that SPG had on the album. I think I think one was repetitive. I mean, for me personally, there's only so many times I can hear about your chat or your millions or your number one albums on Billboard. You know, or Virgil and the one Maybach. There's only so many times I can hear about that.
We're gonna get to it, but go ahead.
Right. So like, I guess I feel like, you know, it's always we're rapping about the same things over and over again. But that in of itself, I don't think is the problem. The problem is that I don't think that he's coming up with new and interesting ways to rap about those same things over and over again. Because like you said, being braggadocious is a part of hip hop. Talking about what you have, talking about your accolades, blah blah blah. But it's never in a more interesting fashion. It's always the same. Like to the point that there've been times in his music that I've heard like what sounded like repeatable bars, like bars that I would have heard way back when. And so yeah, in terms of the content,
And don't forget,
It's
this
my-
nigga has been dropping an album every year.
but yes, and there's that, and then there's the fact that a lot of the content is so misogynistic and like borderline, like just women hate, and whether that is coming from a place of, you know, he's been hurt, he doesn't know how to work that through. We'll dive into that, but yeah. I just find lyrically there's nothing there for me to hold on to. That, like after a first listen, why would you go back and listen again? There's no real reason to. Wordplay, same thing as SPG. There's gonna be a lot of ditto coming up here. Same as SPG. In terms of wordplay, he knows how to flip words. That's true. He definitely knows how to flip words. So I gave him a 5 out of 10 only because the words that he's flipping don't have any content or substance or meaning to them. Pointless. And then finally, delivery. Drake is good at what he does. I mean, let's call it what it is. When he sings,
He's a good rapper.
yeah, when he sings on records, he sounds great. I think that he knows how to choose beats and he knows how to flow on said beats. He finds pockets. You can't take that away from Drake. Drake knows how to make a good song. I remember listening to Instagram Live about Lupe Fiasco. Somebody asked him, you know, obviously he's like a super lyrical rapper, so they went straight to the top of, you know, what people would consider like just regular mainstream rap artists. So he would say, Drake, how do you feel about Drake? I don't know if he was playing the industry card, but he's like, you know what, at the end of the day, Drake knows how to make hit records, and that in of itself is a skill. So I'm not gonna take that away from him. So in terms of his delivery, I think the delivery is a 7 out of 10.
I would I want to add something here. Trey and I, Trezale, what do we can do?
I don't know.
Trezale and I have been talking about the ability to make songs for a while. And like, because there have been some rappers that the guys would have been like, oh my gosh, these guys got so many bars, and we'd be like, yeah, that's all it is. Like, bars don't make a song.
Shit.
Bars don't make a song, but a song is made off bars.
Up bars, yeah.
Drake knows how to make a song.
He does. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Okay. So final section, album review. We're gonna be discussing the overall theme and the conclusion. Yeah.
Take it away, Trezale.
Take it away. Okay. So
Okay.
I didn't give the album a rating prior to the pod because I actually wanted to just do it here in real time with you guys. So I'll tell you what my just overarching feeling about it. The album is entitled For All the Dogs. Initially going into it, I feared the worst. I can be honest, because given the past,
Wait, you listen to Her Loss?
I did listen to her loss, yeah, which is what would have preceded this, correct?
You've done therapy after all this.
I know it's not easy. It's not easy, man. The things we do for this pod.
Anyhow, go ahead.
Facts, so after hearing like the content from said albums like Her Loss, I feared the worst when I heard him entitle this album For All the Dogs. So before I delve into my thoughts on the album, I think it's best that we kind of get it from the horse's mouth. So anyone who's listened to this album, Drake would have put out a book of, well, I guess what did he call them? Short poems, short stories. These little poems, the book of poems, and for this album, he actually had like an excerpt for one of the poems at the top before he went into what this album was about. And I thought it was perfect because instead of listening to what we feel or what we think and what we're gleaning and speculating about where his head was at, I think it's great that he actually included this to let you know what birthed it. So this is what I said. Just because I've been on a run doesn't mean I don't know how to walk away. I'll let you get your bars off over text, but don't forget you're talking to Drake. Back to your conceited. Personality, morality, immeasurable salary. $100 bills that I'm counting like a calorie. Shells for the peanut gallery. Probably better off with Mallory or Valerie. You tearing up and sniffling while reacting like some allergies. Saying what I mean isn't mean if you're really listening. It's reality. Drake. Now, I already disliked the album prior to reading this, but this just lets me know the kind of headspace with which this has actually been created. And I do feel as if the title For All the Dogs is really just some misogynist stronghold that is encapsulated in 22, 23 records. I really do. I can't think anything else of it because this is what he says about it. The album has a loose theme, B-A-R-K radio. B-R-A-K radio. And basically, and I say it's loose because unlike certain albums like Janelle Monáe, or I'm trying to think about what other radio theme albums I've listened to, where you kick off from the first track, you would actually, it'd be like Talk Until. You make sure that you reference the fact that it's a radio station. You would hear people changing through. Dawn FM, his guy, Weekend, actually did it. He had a concept album just like that where it was about a radio station. And he didn't do that. Saying that this has a loose concept around B-A-R-K radio, bark, dog, the fact that the album art is supposed to be a dog, but then Adonis said it's a goat.
The dog was one of the radio disc jockeys.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg was there as a radio disc jockey. But even so, even if it is like this place misogynist go to feel safe, I still don't think it was well executed. So it's like even if I give him a blight for thinking that, for being like, okay, well, this is how I feel. I don't really like women hurt me, blah, 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 blah. Conceptually, it still didn't follow through. So if I had to give this album a rating, I would give it like a straight 3 out of 10. I didn't think the concept is poor because it wasn't executed well. But it'll be number 1, and people will rock with it, and his legion of fans would say that it's a classic, yada yada yada. But from a hip hop purist and somebody who actually likes substantive music, it's a miss for me. I know you go after that, but yeah. Yeah.
I think that they just need to close them all up. I think Trezale did a great job talking about this. I mean, I'm not sure if I mean, For All the Dogs. So is he using it from the perspective of how you, I'm Afro-American, you're Afro-American, Black Afro-American. I mean, Afro-American. What am I saying? Will refer to each other or call the group of men in this movement my dog.
But you said it, men. Right, the group of men. So it's an album for men.
Right. But you know what's interesting? A lot of hip hop albums are for men. A lot of hip hop albums aren't for women, though women become a part of that whole male thing and get into it, fall into it. And I guess maybe he's yet again doing this thing where he was originally the songstress guy, making songs for women. Because I felt like Drake was in the space where he would make songs where people would talk about, and he would always be talking about his emotions, and people never stop giving him man pressure for all of that. And what's interesting is that I never gave him pressure for that, but then I don't usually subscribe to extremely natural descriptions of masculinity.
Agreed.
Right? So the whole, I don't know, be a man, I don't know, be a man tropes
Right.
are not my thing, right? So when Drake first used to rap songs about his feelings and interaction with women and how he felt about things, I thought it was refreshing. It was great. That resonated with me. So I wasn't on Drake, the type of because that means he's killing me.
Yeah.
Drake, the type of guy, they didn't use the word type, right?
Yeah.
Who, and they would have some stop nonsense going on there. Well, I would love it. But I think that, so when he says for dogs, I'm like, so is he trying to make it very apparent that he's not doing that type of thing with this? Because he does do that. He doesn't sing songs for women, he sings songs about women. As if he's saying, well, I'm known guys who have had this experience too. Yeah. So, I mean, so it's for his bodies, but is there also a play on words with the fact that women call men dogs when men are doing, when they're being, what's the word? When they're being womanizing.
Right.
And so on. And aren't there lines, there's some lyrics on the album where technically he's into that. Where it's like, yeah, what are meant to do?
Yeah. But to me, I think that if he did go, and I mean, the record is your record, right? This is just us like kind of pontificating about how we think it could have made more sense. If it was that maybe he created half of the album with his perspective being hurt, being a man that's traumatized in whatever way that he's been traumatized, and it kind of created the BC and who he is. And then you have the other side. The only time in the album that something like that even shone through was in Slang You Out. When he was talking crazy in the beginning of Slang You Out, was SZA crazily,
I didn't even start rapping and I'm like, I don't want to hear the rest.
Like, dude, just go to therapy. Just get your ass to therapy.
Well, we're gonna talk.
And then at the end of it, SZA then came in with her, well, you ain't shit. You understand? She came in with her kind of defense and rebuttal type thing. But to me, that's just that was like a drop in the bucket, which was filled of all the other misogynist BS.
I felt like it wasn't a reply to him, but you know how people do that
general
thing where, where there is a theme for a song.
Right. Okay.
And then you give the male and female perspective of the theme.
Theme.
Right.
Right.
As opposed to he says X and she's the woman that is responding.
They call it response. Right. Gotcha. Feel you.
Overall theme for me, it just seemed like a mishmash of the usual nonsense from Drake. So I didn't feel that there was anything particularly thematic to it. I mean, I heard the B-A-R-K radio, and to me it felt like a lame attempt at having some type of thematic thread, because we didn't even hear the first B-A-R-K interlude until six songs in.
Yeah, maybe like 3/4. It was far. It was far.
Right, and then you heard it like twice or 3 times or something like that.
Yeah, it was weird. And then the weird Sade do, which kind of like that hurt me deep. I love Sade. Like, what is Sade in this crap?
Well, I mean, he's very
very rich, very influential.
So I like, then overall I think that the album is mid to less than mid.
Not one of his best bodies of work.
No, and this is unfortunately coming from a person who hasn't listened to many of his bodies of work in recent times, only like 2 or 3 songs from each one. And so I have to, that would be my disclaimer.
Yeah, you draw, you can do it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't listened to, I told you.
You listen to Scorpion?
No. Views? No.
Views? Certified there. I listen to everything. Darlene, Demo Tape. Oh,
Darlene, Demo Tapes? No.
No, correct. Yeah.
Wait, then Her Loss?
Her Loss, yeah. Beats on Her Loss were retarded, but beats go hard.
Sorry.
Beats go hard.
So I'm gonna give it just a little bit more than for me. I think because J. Cole was before.
Wow.
So the thing about our feeling that this album is mid and less than mid, and touching on ramble on a bit, touching on how we feel about certain themes and content areas, like content, yeah, certain concepts that he has in the songs, is what we want to now use to talk about what we really do. Because as much as it's issues of always going on with it, it's just that I don't go on about how much I think that he's really, I mean, I don't, like, as I say, I don't like him, man, so I don't listen to him. And that's it. You know, I don't even bother to talk about him. But we decided, you know what? Let's use this album to exemplify the things that we don't like about this artist.
Alright, so let me set up for this. Sorry about that, guys. Let me set up for this. Let me first start by saying that even though I think Drake is problematic, I think that Drake is only a result of the fact that hip hop on the whole is problematic. So just let me start with that. So before people think that we are vilifying this and character assassinating this person, it is what Drake represents in the bigger sphere of, unfortunately, what hip hop currently is. Okay, so my two issues. My main issues with Drake are inauthenticity and the black card. So I'll start with inauthenticity. I have been listening to Drake from the beginning, and I think what really endeared me to Drake was the fact that he was not afraid to talk about how he felt about various topics. It was mainly relationships. You know, maybe at that point in my life, I felt similar. You know, he was saying things. I have never purported myself to be some type of gangster in any way or hard in any way, but I love hip hop. So already I could see that there were similarities. Drake felt like an artist that I could connect with because he, coming into the rap game, was clearly not a gangster. He does not come from the streets. He's half black, he's half Jewish.
I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
That resonated.
Yeah, correct. He's half black, he's half Jewish. And me and SPG talked a lot about the times. Well, for me personally, I gravitate towards artists that I think have similar experiences or viewpoints as myself, because then I can almost really feel deeply what they're saying and how they view the world. And I think for the large part of Drake's early career, he was speaking on behalf of women. He had a few songs where he spoke about the fact that, you know, I see, you fancy, huh? You remember you fancy, huh? Mm-hmm. And he's speaking on behalf of the women, and I feel as if women are like, oh wow, like here's this hip hop, this music, but this guy really gets me. I mean, yeah, maybe you could call it like a LL Cool J type moment.
What was it? The other one, they had it all the ladies and all the women that were cameo in the song.
Not You Fancy? It wasn't You Fancy? It was on Fancy? It was on No Uncensored.
Something for What? Wow.
Nice for What?
Yeah.
Nice for What? Yeah. I do remember that actually. And it just kind of felt like Drake.
It seemed like a treaty to, like just honor him.
Right, honor him, and it really felt like Drake was the ladies' man. It definitely felt like that, but not a ladies' man that hated women, a ladies' man that appreciated women. And somewhere along the way, that changed. And I have my my theories as to what has happened, but let me take a brief moment to shout out F.D Signifier. SPG put me on to you, my brother, and your content is amazing. Anyone who has not checked out F.D Signifier, please do on YouTube, and also check out B-Sides.
Yeah, Signifier B-Sides.
That shit is fire. Yeah. You are fire, my friend. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. Appreciate you. Right? Okay, so from my perspective, there came a point in, to use F.D Signifier's terms, when Drake became a heel. He kind of shed this good boy attitude and then became like this kind of like anti-hero. He grew a beard, he became darker. And I think at that point in time, it was apparent that Drake chose a path in hip hop where he was going to assimilate into what unfortunately would be the most toxic aspects of misogynistic behavior in the hip hop space. And you can kind of see that even up to this day. My issue with Drake is that I don't believe it's real. I believe it's inauthentic. And whether your authenticity is not popping, that stuff should not matter. I mean, you look at Kid Cudi, look at Kanye, look at Lupe Fiasco, look at Childish Gambino. Childish is a perfect example of how you can actually be an actor and still be a successful hip hop artist. The fact that Drake felt he needed to go down this line of being a pretend gangster, because yeah, I'm looking at you, Drake, I think you're a pretend gangster. I see you. You're not a gangster. You may have gangsters around you, for sure. I get that. But what I'm saying is that hip-hop means authenticity to me. Whatever that authenticity is. You know what I mean? That's the culture. That's the cloth from which hip-hop is cut. You know?
Because I think that people mistake that when hip-hop talks about being real, that's such a central thing in hip-hop. And being real doesn't mean being
No.
Being real means being you.
The unfortunate part of that is that because of how it was birthed and in the communities it was birthed, being real can be associated with street activity and being gangster. But that's not what truly hip hop is about.
And we have to admit that being real doesn't always resonate with everyone. There are a lot of rappers that only have a niche market for what it is that they do, but they're real. And that is the point.
But why is it then?
The way is it what?
Why is it that Drake being real, quote unquote, fake gangster, is more widely accepted by the audiences than Griselda? If what you're saying is true, the most real artists and the most gangster artists should be the largest. No.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Think about it. Think about it. It's not about being real. It's about being marketable.
You know what I can tell you?
To white audiences.
You know what I can tell you? No.
I said it.
I love it when we disagree.
Yeah. It's about being marketable.
No, maybe we're just not. Maybe we're
agreeing in the right way.
No, what I'm saying is that. No. Drake's inauthenticity is more marketable to white audiences. Isn't that what you just said? That's what you were trying to say?
It's more marketable because it's Drake. That is coming from the visage of Drake. If it was coming
so there's
from...
all of other things going on there.
Exactly.
Are we talking about redskin nigga? Well, did I just say that? A redskin guy?
Yeah, we talk about light skin.
Light skin. So is it light skin guy phenomenon? Is that part of it?
I think because he is not... I think because his image is not one that creates immediate fear, it's more marketable. It's less of a... Yeah, it's Drake's shows aren't getting shut down. Let me put it that way. And the audiences that attend Drake shows aren't getting it shut down. Call it for what it is.
So your issue with the man is inauthenticity. You think that he has pretended because when he started he wasn't inauthentic then. You thought he was more authentic then.
I think he was closer to who he really was back then.
So who he is now, this kind of because.
So you see it in his music though. You see like these gleaning, like you see Drake is far too emotional for stereotypical hip hop gangster artists.
Because that's the funny thing about it, because a lot of his songs, I mean, to be fair, I am not sure that Drake really sings a lot of songs about treating women badly.
You need to listen to her once.
Oh, okay.
You need to listen to her because 21 Savage is savage when it comes to that.
Very well.
To me, I think he does treat women badly. The things he says. woke hot sauce and clown. Like there's madness. It's madness.
When there is a particular type of very common traditional misogyny where rappers go on about how many women they're having sex with, and that, you know, they're gonna tell she leaving, and a kind of disregard for women except for the acts of sex that they can provide. So there is an unfortunate persistent trope across hip hop of women being used for the sexual gratification that they provide, and that's their only purpose. It is from the hip hop, the video vixen. It is particularly more problematic when, and I don't know if we've spoken about this before, my frustrations with seeing only red-skinned women being depicted within hip hop videos for some time. It's very difficult to find rappers presenting darker-skinned women as the source of their, where their sexual interest is, but then still, it's about what a woman, like what that mouth do, you know, what you're doing with X, Y, and Z. So that is, to me, a very common way in which men, it's almost as if women are discardable. They're like, and the lyrics don't have any kind of worth or depth to them. It is almost as if getting a sexual favor from a woman because you're a rapper is a setting or a backdrop to a hip hop album. It's like, well, you know, you gotta got certain things. You gotta talk about guns, you gotta talk about money, you gotta talk about cars, and you gotta talk about women giving you performing oral sex on you in the back of the show. Like, it's almost as if, and that aspect of it. So that's what I'm saying. And I have not really heard Drake saying a lot of those things. What I often hear Drake saying, so what we've done now is we moved into SVGs, one of the SVG's issues, because one of my main issues with Drake, I know Tremaine's mentioned quite a bit, and I didn't want to cut into your inauthenticity. So that's why I was saying we'd come back to this.
Yeah.
But I'll just continue and say that. My difficulty is that the type of misogyny that Drake gets on with is a kind of misogyny that can hide and is more subtle. It can hide below the fact that you're not doing.
It's more insidious.
Yes, it's more insidious. It can hide below the veneer of, oh, well, I'm not talking about women in that way. I'm not objectifying women in that way or whatever. You know, that's what all those other rappers are doing. And then you get him saying things like, you know, ever since I left the city, you know, I've been hearing things about you. Your mom would be ashamed of you. Like, what are these girls, what's wrong with them? It's like you need someone to tell you, you know, what utensils to use. So there is this way in which he presents himself as an authority at life, and that women are not. Which is interesting because he seems to be upset that they're not. So he then takes on a position of righteousness, self-righteousness. Hence the comments about women no longer being able to maintain their morality in his absence. Like, I've left the city and now I hear you're doing these things.
Yeah.
So as if his presence in the woman's life has stabilized her and made her a less problematic individual on the social scene. Who knows what those problems are? You won't suggest. But after all, the main reason that since he left the city, he's been hearing about her on the scene. What are you talking about? So this idea, now I'm not saying that those aren't possible things. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there may not be guys who had an experience where they were with someone and when they broke up from that person, the hurt and trauma that person went through resulted in a period of their life where they did certain things or were a particular way within whatever context, and that may have been impacted on different people negatively. Because I'm being very careful here how I speak about this. You know, a person's life changes, they go through a lot of hurt, and they decide to behave in a particular way that some people may think, ooh, what do you do?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that isn't a possible thing for people to experience and, you know, go through. What I am saying though is that who is Drake to place himself in this space? When Trezale was reading those lyrics just now, there was one of them was something about being moral, about morality. So there is this idea that he has in his head that he's really and truly a good guy, and that these women don't seem to get it. He can't find real love because people aren't recognizing how good a guy he is. And when he does find somebody that he likes, and we ain't even getting into who he's going for, but he then gets upset because he's like, well, recognize this. And then they end and he's like, yeah, well, you don't know that we've done. You can't find your way in life.
But
I just only, you're going to have to edit this, but there's only one thing for me to say in response to that. Nigga, please.
But I guess the thing is, and I like a lot of the points that you made. I feel like you know, like when you listen to an album, I don't know about you, but when I listen to an album, I listen to everything on the album, especially the skits. And there was a skit, there were these two skits. One was, I think it was either before or after Bahamas Promise, or I think that was the one about it. And one was, you told me the person sounded white, firstly. So we can get onto that colorism.
Or you mean the girl that he flew over, he put her in economy class?
He put her in economy and the way she behaved about it.
And she was
right? I found that was very telling because he wanted to paint women in a particular light. And the second one was when they were on vacation. I think this
because you're not grateful for what's happening
to you. Yeah, you should be grateful, right? And the second one was like, oh, you know, I don't want to be eating oxtail and jerk chicken every day. So obviously she's in Jamaica.
But the oxtail was fire though.
But still, I don't want to be eating that every day. Again, like, and I think what worries me the most about it is that when you title your album For All the Dogs, you got BARK Radio, you have all this content, you have skits. All I can think to myself, SPG, is that this man hates women. And fun fact, when we were queuing up, is it still running? When we were queuing this up, tell them about what happened, what the algorithm did when you were queuing up Drake. That was good people in people land.
I don't even understand. I typed in Drake playlist, I typed in Drake 2023, and for some reason something from Andrew Tate popped up. What?
There you have it.
I mean, Drake did have some kind of talk for Andrew Tate, so maybe that's what we thought.
Right, if he had a criticism. I mean, if you think about it.
But anyway, let's not go down that rabbit hole. So that's one of my upsets. Let's get back to you. So were you finished? You're going to tie up inauthenticity, or you think you cover that?
Yeah, the only thing I would finalize by saying in terms of being inauthentic is that I long for an authentic Drake album. I am not going to say that there were no tracks on this album that were void of authenticity, in my opinion, or what I think is the true Drake. There is a track called Away From Home, which SVG alluded to earlier, but I actually think it's a good album, a good record, because it felt like an actual recounting of what has happened to Drake. And when he gets in that mode and he starts storytelling, it's quite good. He had a song on, if you're reading this, It's Too Late, called On the Six or In the Six. I think it was a song that he kind of like penned to his mom. And ironically enough, in that album, he mentioned the fact that people would say he's not black enough, he's not white enough. And then he actually referenced the fact that he felt the pressure of being more hardcore as a hip hop artist. Like when you're black, you have to be more hardcore.
Which is why you really like that song.
Which is why I really like that song. And that particular song is in 2015. So 8 years, help me with my math, 8 years, right? 8 years on, Drake is still struggling with his identity.
Yeah, he is. He's still struggling with his identity. You know what I'm going to call? I'm going to say that to add a little.
That's my rap on that.
I capture what you're talking about.
Tell me.
Because some of those songs I do think are authentic Drake. No,
Fair.
because the man that started rapping with So Far Gone and Come Last Season,
What decade were we in?
yeah, ages ago, is not the guy that is currently telling Joe Budden that he got a
767.
767.
He's playing first class on special occasion.
Right.
Oh,
So
real classy stuff.
yeah.
Real
So
classy stuff.
yeah. So I mean, that's a different type of person, and that person, even if that person is still, like, I think it's a kind of weird mix of this is who I am, but who I am is a person that doesn't know who they are.
Oh, but it's admitting it though. It's being forthcoming about the fact that I'm still trying to figure it out.
No, we just interpret.
Because I would
we
find
can-
that endearing.
Well, if he said that,
Right, it's not-
but his
but
name
that's-
is not Kendrick Lamar.
Oh boy, true. Or J. Cole. You know.
All right, next.
All right.
So what's this black card thing?
Right. So my my second and final issue, I promise. Issue with Drake as it stands. Oh, and by the way, again, I do believe the issue is bigger than Drake. You heard SPG and I expound just now about how difficult contemporary hip hop is, and I think this is just this is a perfect example of why it's difficult for us to be into hip hop in 2023. So anyway, say that and be done with that. In terms of Black Card, my personal take is that obviously born to a white mother, black father, I feel as if, and I've felt as if, where Drake is benefiting from hip hop culture, or has benefited, or continues to benefit from hip hop culture, which is rooted in the black experience. Let's be honest. Anybody who knows their hip hop trivia and history would know that. Drake has done very little to bring awareness to some of the, or any of the issues that are plaguing black communities. Whether you talk about Canada, America, the world, whatever you say. And I know the stands will get in the comments to say, oh, it's not his job to do this, it's not his job to do that. I hear you, I feel you. But the same hip hop of which Drake continues to benefit was birthed from marginalized communities. Hip hop came about, listen, if you want, we're gonna tag it in the card, we're gonna let you guys know when SPG and I went over the history of hip hop and how it was birthed and its genesis and whatnot. A lot of it was speaking out about what was happening. A lot of it was bringing awareness to all the ways in which things were happening in society and it was affecting them. So that is the same, that is the culture, that is the hip hop of which he continues to benefit. And I think by going to interviews and saying, oh, well, you know, I'm black, I don't understand why I gotta fight for my blackness. But then on the other hand, not even saying, well, hey, you know, look at what's happening to my black brothers and sisters. Like, you know, like, how can you do that? Like, hey, all I see is Drake taking the fruits and reaping all the highs of that black culture and all the litness and everything that goes along with it, but not addressing any of the ills.
Well, we've talked about this before, so I would challenge you.
Yep.
Why does he have to?
He doesn't have to, but I think
The fact that he doesn't.
he doesn't have to, because I don't think anyone has to do anything in life, right? I think that I think for me personally, the issue is that if you are a person that continues to benefit from a particular culture, the least you can do is care about the people from which that culture was birthed. I can't see how you can be hanging let me say you in the cut, you got like 20 goons around you, you got whoever people around you, right? And the police come up, and they come to you, they come to the man next to you. Like, in that situation, what are you gonna do? You're gonna stand up, right? You're gonna say, well, why is it that you went to him? Like, you gotta do something. Like, come on, if you don't stand for anything, what do you stand for? Like, Drake doesn't have, it feels to me like Drake doesn't have a socio-political backbone. Like, what does Drake believe in? Even if you want to rap about Jews and Israel, rap about it. I think to me, Drake's inability, or his reluctance, I should say, to touch on anything political is him trying to protect his ultimate bag. And I have a huge problem with that. I
But
think
he's the ultimate hit maker, because that's the thing, that's what seems to have become his purpose.
to be the ultimate hit maker, to be as rich as possible, to be as rich as humanly possible.
I am not so sure that it is connected to wealth. Certainly, the wealth is one of the benefits of it.
So what else would be? So what other metric then? What else would it be? Because I mean, like, he's like,
Wanting
who
to
to
be
go?
the best.
Who to go?
Exactly. We
How are
haven't
you to
even,
go? You can't be
we,
the
we,
go.
we didn't even talk about that. That is just one of the most cringy lines I've ever heard. Like, you in a song with Drake Cole and you drop a line like that? Like, Drake Cole's drop a bar every half bar. That's how bad it is. Like, just tonnage. And you're talking about how you like having dinner with fine women, and then they start having a conversation about who to go, and he's like, go ahead, who to go, as if he's kind of like taunting them to be like, you really gonna say somebody else other than me while you're on a date with me?
But
That's how it came across to me.
no, definitely. But I guess ultimately, I think what I'm getting to.
Right.
What?
Not across it, but across you. So the point, was that I think it's not about the money, but I think it's about the fame. I think he's obsessed with well, that's my other point. That's the thing. So maybe I'll talk about it in my other point.
Mhm.
But I think he's obsessed with something beyond just the money. Go ahead.
Right. So, because I think ultimately how I feel about Drake is that Drake's reluctance to touch on certain issues, political or otherwise, is because he doesn't want to rock the boat. Drake wants to be as marketable as possible, in my opinion, with white audiences. And to this day, I mean, you could say that Kendrick Lamar is a huge artist. Yes, he is. He's not as big an artist as Drake. And why is that? Is it because Kendrick has decided to be open about, the movement? Is it because Kendrick has decided that, yeah, he's gonna speak on race issues? What is it? I feel as if, because there's always a chance that you're going to say something that a brand is going to be like, you know what, we don't want to be connected to that. We don't. And I just feel like as an artist, this is how he's going to become forgettable. And even in the world of streams and Billboard #1s and stuff like that, yeah, you go down on the fact sheet, but you're not going to be remembered. You're not going to be remembered because you don't say anything memorable. You don't do anything memorable. What do you do? What do you say? How have you made a change? Or you've made a change because you made a woman throw a 34Z bra up on it. Great. You done did it. No. Like, when you reach that level and you have the opportunity to change the lives of millions of people, or not even change the lives of millions of people, but change the ideas and the thoughts of people at a certain level, which will trickle down and improve the livelihoods of marginalized communities, you do that shit. Why would you do that shit? So yeah.
You just think
He was issue with that.
Yeah.
He was issue with that.
I don't know. You just think that he's essentially, it's almost as if he just isn't honoring the people that the music came from.
He thinks he is, but he really isn't, because he could say it in his words. He could say like, oh, I love Lil Wayne and let him do this and do that. Come on, bro. You're the biggest hip hop artist in the world. You have the ability to enact change. You have the ability through your words to make a literal change, even if it's a change in perspective. Because literally that's how change happens, You open a person's perspective to something different. But he chooses not to. But he can dress like Yachty. He don't want swag out like 21 Savage.
So,
all right, you go.
So
you go slap him if you go.
as we like to say,
Yeah.
I mean, me and Trezale, our reasons for our disliking tend to conflict, but some resonate more with him than me.
Vice versa.
I don't even know if the English is right there. I apologize. Him and I? More of me. Him. More of him. Yes, him and me. Wow. Like my difficulty, my final difficulty.
That's all you.
Fight. There's this, and I guess it's kind of connected to what Trezale was talking about when it comes to authenticity. Because it's his bandwagon. I'm not sure if it's fair for me to have a problem with this, but it is certainly an observation that doesn't necessarily improve in my mind as an artist. But that's because my perspective of an artist is about being true to your artistry. And since Drake's artistry tends to morph, I feel like the man is a chameleon. And so what he does is he jumps onto trends, but everybody knows it. I mean, there was the Afrobeat.
Doesn't make it right though.
Well, fair enough. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, who am I to tell? I mean, don't get me wrong, the man is getting his bag. So don't feel that I want the man to stop doing what he's doing because I feel like people talk about clout. I feel like Drake is the quintessential ultimate personified. I mean that's kind of stupid. He is the ultimate clout chaser. Because that's what he was trying to say earlier. I don't think he's very good at it. Because what I'm saying is that he's a chameleon. He just moves with this bit, and I'm saying that I am making the calculate saying that I am not upset with the man for doing what he needs to do to keep making him money. Mm-hmm. But I was making the point to Trezale that I don't think it's about money. I think it's about relevance. Because I think that's what he craves and he needs. He needs to know that people are considering him to be the best.
At all times.
At all times, because forever and ever. He wants to remain relevant forever. And that's why he's not aging gracefully. That was the point. That's the point that Joe Budden was making.
Unnecessary. Yeah, I was telling him. Shout out to you, Joe. I don't often agree with you. You know you old and you miserable. You miserable for sure. Shout out to Slaughterhouse though. You know what got me? I can tell you what pissed me off. Sorry.
Joe is a fire lyricist.
Listen to me, right? When Drake said that about how your music is not memory, listen, I even hit the comments and I was like, yeah, Aubrey, that's cap. That is cap. Because anybody who loves hip hop know about Joe Budden.
Know about Joe Budden.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Anyway, but that's what he was saying, because you're not about the kind of realization that many people go through where they make peace, like I have recently been having to do.
We all have to do it. I'm going through it as well.
Like
I'm
with it. 47. Yeah. I was listening to hip hop since I was 8. That's 39 years. And so if current hip hop doesn't resonate with me as much, that's actually okay.
That's actually okay. Good. Maybe it
Maybe
shouldn't.
this is my segue to say that we probably need a host on the show, a co-host on the show that's like 10 years younger than Trezale.
Exactly.
Because Trezale is 10 years my junior.
Junior, correct.
Right. So like we got those two eras.
Correct.
But like maybe we need like a 29-year-old.
Any person up there who be interested, hit us up. Hit us up if you want to come co-host Brad podcast. You gotta be what? Gotta be at least what?
You gotta be like in your late
28, right? 28 or younger. And yeah, you gonna know
mid to
hip-hop.
late 20s.
Mid to
And
late
you're gonna
20s.
know hip hop. I love it.
You ain't gonna get paid our name, but
Not yet.
you ain't get paid yet. But you can come on the pod, we can chop it up, and yeah, we need that. We need that perspective.
Yeah, we need that perspective. But my point is that he seems like a person who is not about that. And I mean, fair enough. He's still in his mid to late 30s, so fair enough. And so he's doing this thing where he's constantly chasing relevance, and that is related to Trezale's idea of inauthenticity, because it's just like who's Drake every next minute he doing something new, and I know that they're gonna be stars and they're gonna be like, you have a problem with that. You have a problem with the man like coming with fresh stuff that keeps people interested. I mean, I can understand a person being like,
fresh though.
that's the point. It's not fresh. I said to Trezale, the problem with Drake being the ultimate bandwagonist is that he just jumped on the bandwagon so quick in the wagon's journey that you just think that the man holding the reins.
Exactly.
But if you if he was able to get sufficient angle, you will see that he's standing behind the person
Yeah.
that's holding the reins, and then because he's
But he's so big.
but he's so big,
The person is there. You don't ever see them.
You don't ever see that because they're sitting down, but he's standing right behind them. So you're like,
Correct.
wait, it's Drake that came up with that? No.
No.
No. So I'm just saying, well, okay. So then the counter argument could be like, but there's nothing new under the sun. If Drake does a particular genre or subgenre of hip hop really well, what's your problem with it? As I said, I have no problem with the man pursuing that. I'm just saying that when it comes to artist authenticity, so I guess I'm connecting with Trezale in this one. When it comes to the bandwagonism, I feel like there's this way in which he just kind of swallows and assimilates cultures like the Borg and Star Trek. Hey everybody that's my age and knows what I'm talking about.
Borg. Oh
Yeah.
shoot! Am I include a Borg reference? Yeah, we ain't got to explain what the Borg is in the description. No worries, we got you.
Yeah, I'll send a video. I'll link you to a video. You know, like I mean, I have a difficulty with that because to me it just is further evidence to the fact that this is not really who the person is, and it's strange because yes, artists develop and become these other persons, but it's almost as if he just uses a different style to say the same thing.
Yes.
So while other
Yes.
artists are developing both their
Cook.
content,
As you people say,
Okay.
cook. Cooking, you know.
well, thanks, sir. Right? But I mean, you know, like while other people are developing both their sound and their saying, he's only developing his sound. And is it really a development or just a switch to a different sound?
It's just a change stylistically.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
that's all it is.
That's all it
And it's
is.
the same garbage content all the time.
I assure you, the next album is going to be the same shit this album is. Just probably it might be a full Latin album. Maybe Latin plus trance. Maybe EDM might make it.
Well, I mean,
he did his EDM album.
album
already.
and he had Bad Bunny on this one.
Yeah.
So I mean, wait, that's all had a pretty good beat too.
Yeah. Music good. Music's good. Yeah. This one take a lot of the men.
I just want to say, in summary, I want to end this part off by saying that Fear of Heights really upset me.
Oh man.
And
The man went for Rih Rih.
but I don't understand. Nobody
is saying that. Well, you know, we not putting page on Twitter.
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe we don't know. Wait, shame. Sorry,
Yeah, for sure.
because I ain't. But
Man went for Rih Rih. Man went for National Treasure.
But
Mad.
what?
You're mad.
I don't care if you think that something was average, and that is what I'm talking about. Like, why why Drake does sound like a hurt 15-year-old all the time? You mean to tell me that you are nearly 40 years old and you can't take an L?
Yeah.
That is where some of his toxic masculinity comes out. They got men out here so killing women and doing weird jump because of that same nonsense, you know.
What's the term that you told me? You see, that's what I'm saying. On some level, don't you think this album could be like dog whistling?
I mean, it is for all the dogs.
I mean, even the things that he says, you know, and then it's like, well, Drake feels that way, so of course it makes sense that I feel. You understand? What I mean?
Because seriously, you're upset that it didn't work out with you and Rihanna, and I mean, I'm not saying that you can't be upset. Who likes being rejected? No one does. Rejection feels horrible. But part of growing up is learning that rejection is a inevitable and normal feeling to have, that you can't avoid it. Somebody out there will not want you. Somebody will not want you. And you just need to put on your big boy britches. Like, what is he like? Does he have on? He's wearing pull-ups. That's what it is. He hasn't yet bought his boxer briefs. Like, what is going on? Like, what is going on? Like, seriously? You're upset about that? And that's why a lot of the songs that he sings, like, being upset with these girls, like challenging the girls when it was like, yeah, go ahead, who to go,
yeah,
like, that's silliness, go on. Like, so there's this kind of weird, kind of youthful immaturity that I wonder if it comes out of a space of having been hurt and rejected in the past, and he hasn't worked through that.
Yeah.
And so it still keeps coming out in his music, even though he's so much older. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, a lot of people, I mean, I'm sure that me and Trey are still working through whatever traumas from our childhood.
Bro, I was fat. Of course I'm working through trauma still. Kidding me?
Oh my God, and it was skinnier than this. And my head was the same size.
Who the goat?
But, you know, we're all doing it, but, like, at least, like, other people have just matured in it, man. I done. It's okay, man. Make your money, dude. I don't have a problem with that.
Alright, no problem. Well, guys, you heard it. This has been another episode of the Warehouse Podcast with your boy Trezale and
SVG.
we out.